Hey guys, thanks for coming to today's live stream. I'm Chris Brady, the account executive here at EdgeCom. Originally, we did have Courtney planned to host this webinar, but her sister is having a baby right now, so last minute change of plans. I will be filling in. Today, we are going to be talking about our AI Energy CoPilot, as well as our new portal that goes alongside it. For any current customers in the audience, it's going to look quite a bit different from what you're used to. And for anybody new popping in, I hope to amaze you and show off exactly what we've been working on. I'll say this a few times throughout the live stream here, but we do have a newsletter that you guys can sign up for to stay up to date on AI and energy management, latest developments in the industry, and pretty much anything cutting edge that might be able to help you out in an industrial manner. And that's edgecom.ai/newsletter. Again, edgecom.ai/newsletter. And again, so any technology, AI in the industry, we'll be letting you guys know about it and offering suggestions about how that might look. So I will just give a couple seconds here for more people to get in, but if there's any questions right off the bat in chat, or anybody wants to say hello, feel free. All right. While we're waiting, I guess I can just talk a bit more about the history of EdgeCom and why AI in the industry. Hello, Reza. Hello, Andrew. My day's been great. Thanks. I think while we wait, I think it's important exactly why EdgeCom, why AI in the industrial setting. So EdgeCom itself started back in 2016. Baydad was helping a large plastics company manage the Ontario demand peaks, as well as other programs for cost-saving initiatives. And the overall thought he had to himself was, well, if I can help one company, I can help a bunch of companies and ultimately help Ontario be a more sustainable place for manufacturing and living. And as that industry evolves, we need to improve more and more, right? Climate change is no joke. Sustainability is no joke. GHG is being taken very seriously. So emissions reporting, everything. The issue with that is it's complicated. It's not easy to just know this is your exact scope to emissions. This is exactly how much I consumed. And the easiest way to do that traditionally is metering. And metering is great. You can see exactly everything in your facility. You can know this shaker consumed this much, and then you can go and put it in a formula and see, okay, it consumed this much, which was this many scope 2 GHG emissions, and it was this amount of dollars per month. The issue with that is it's a lot of work, right? And at the end of the day, we're all here working our jobs, and we're already stacked as it is, right? Think about how hard it is to just get time on anybody's calendars right now, right? Everybody's already doing something. So although sustainability focus isn't ideal, it's hard to get to that point where we can confidently say, this is exactly this, all the numbers have been ran, somebody went through it. Again, we don't have that luxury. It's more manpower than resources we have available. And with the influx and improvements of AI over the last decade, there's a serious opportunity for those concerns and opportunities to finally be addressed. So I think a really good example you can use is think about your home. 10 years ago, you had probably a regular thermostat that you could go in. Maybe the most advanced you could make it was that you could set the temperature based on the time of day. So it was a bit warmer in the mornings and a bit cooler in the afternoons when the sun is high. Now, you can have a Google Nest thermostat fully built into your smart home, right? You could go on your phone right now if you have a smart thermostat and see what temperature it is in your house. And if you don't like that, you can change that. But if you go into an industrial facility, everything's so old. What's what, right? So smart facility is definitely the next big step there, and Edgecom's really attempting to spearhead that that improvement, so that at the end of the day, much like you can go on your phone and check what your house temperature is, why can't you go on your phone and check how much your shaker is costing you? Can you check, hey, did I leave any machines on? Instead of having to walk across a 700,000 square foot facility, go on your phone, right? And it's not really something that's touched the industry yet, and that's exactly where we want to slot in and make that change. So, again, one last time before I get into it, we do have a newsletter that's going to talk all about AI, not just what Edgecom provides, but in the industry. Anything that might interest you, support you, even negatives, right? If there's new policies in place that might affect your business, if good or bad, we will be informing you of that so you can stay in the loop and not have to worry about doing diligent research. We're going to load you up with everything you need. But I am going to share my screen here. Now, I did say it earlier, this is our new portal. It is brand new. We just launched it start of the month. We're still in the process of converting some of our current customers, if any are in here, onto the new portal. Um, we do have a variety of services. We have the peak prediction module for Ontario, demand response module for Ontario, and then globally we have our battery dispatch system, as well as our data track AI CoPilot and monitoring. Currently, the data track AI CoPilot and monitoring is what we're going to go over today. Uh, it is just in the process of the rest of the modules being transferred over. So, as I referenced earlier, just getting into it, the number one feedback once we started engaging with our customers in these Ontario programs is, well, how can I improve more, right? And our VP of Sales, Colin Lee, has a very, very, very insightful saying that he loves to mention to people, and that's if you can't measure it, you can't manage it, right? So if you want to make further improvements and save more money and you have no idea what's going on in your facility, it's never going to happen, right? You have better luck throwing darts at the wall. So the first step into improving is measuring. So with that inspired us to create Data Track. And it was a metering platform that you could see your power, water, gas, CO2, tank levels, vibrations, etc. So that's what we'll go over right now. So again, it gives you a high level breakdown. Here you can see in the overview page, it gives electricity, water, gas at a month to date level. So this is how much electricity, water, and gas we've consumed so far in November. At the very top here, this is the sensor status. So before you even look at any of your overview, you can say to yourself, hey, does anything look off? Are one of my sensors off? So right now we can see that we have one inactive sensor. So we can go investigate and make sure that that sensor is working before we try to say, make a report out of some of the stats we're seeing. Scrolling down here, we get into more of the specifics. So instead of just being a cumulative month to date overview, it's the overview of the specific sensors. So again, very straightforward. Under electricity, we see main, shaker, feeder 1, feeder 2. And as mentioned, we see feeder 1's disconnected and it looks like the battery's dead. So that means we know feeder 1 needs a battery change. Now, typically, you would get an email or text or call notification at 20%, 10%, 5% battery life long in advance before you need to change it. But fact of the matter is, it is a test account. So it's just a pulse counter that died in the other room. Now, from here, we introduced this overview and this general monitoring page, and it was great. You could see some of your consumption. But an overview, again, it's very high level. What can I do with it? So the next step that inspired us was really breaking down this data into granular formats that you can see and act on. So the first module here is very standard to what you would see if you logged on to your utility portal. It can show the data in its exact format, live as it's happening, updating every 15 minutes. You can go hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, as well as custom date ranges. And if you really want to zoom in on a specific date, you just highlight it and it goes right there for you. So right now we're looking at November 6th to 11th, and we can see that consumption was very steady across this date. So if I'm an operations manager, an energy manager, I'm probably not concerned about anything, right? And then we can keep getting as granular as we want on this main module. Not only can you look at your mains, but you can look at the shakers, your feeders, any downstream devices you have hooked up, we can support on this entire platform. And just as a little caveat here, guys, we are hardware agnostic. So although we can supply meters for you at a very inexpensive cost, if you already have meters set up or a way to acquire your data, we can port this into our portal via API or Modbus or a few other protocols and make sure that you have your data in a digestible format. So moving on here, again, getting into the more granular consumption reports. On the right-hand side, we have day over day, week over week, month over month, not only consumption, but cost. So you can actually see the progress you're making. So for sake of example, if you set a goal that you are going to lower your average boiler consumption by X%, you can see exact performance of day over day, week over week, and month over month of that. So for example, month over month, we're actually using our boiler 6% more than the previous month. So obviously in terms of metrics, that's not good. But not only can we see consumption, we can look at cost. So we can see how much is that boiler actually costing me. So in this case, last month it was 58,000. This month is 69,000. So it's a difference of over $10,000. So when you're looking at a high level, 6% increase might not seem that much. But when we're talking about machines and assets that are responsible for 20, 30, 40% of your electricity bill, it's really important to pay attention to those assets and make sure you're on top of them. And again, if you can't measure it, you cannot manage it appropriately. Going down here, we also have heat maps. Heat maps are a very good way if you're just very quick at a glance, you need to look at everything. You can just select where it's the main or a specific downstream asset, and you can just look at it at a glance. This is great if you're running, say, 2 shifts and you notice a hot spike at 4 a.m. on a Saturday. Well, the feeder shouldn't be running 4 a.m. on a Saturday, so I need to make sure that doesn't happen again. Need to make sure there's no issues, and right there I get that live feedback. And then same thing, just more ways to view your data. So this is bar graphs, again, consumption cost, 1 week, 1 month, or custom date intervals. And overall, this is all great, but I think it really speaks to what's next. And the most important part is you have all this data, but like we said at the start, it's so much time. Go even just showing you guys this portal, we've went through 10 minutes of time. And if you're actually looking at this data, looking for improvements, it's not enough, because at the end of the day, you're getting a resource like this to save you time, save you energy, save you money. So if you need to spend 2-3 hours a day analyzing this, it's not saving you any time. And again, this is where the CoPilot comes in, and this is what I want to show you guys today. So much like you've seen ChatGPT, much like we've had Amazon Alexas and Googles for the past number of years, we wanted to bring that to the industrial space. So while we're collecting all your data, showing it to you on dashboards, giving you alarms and reports, we've also been working on teaching this AI in the back end. And with that, it's in the development of being able to answer any facility related questions. So whether that's consumption, cost, you want a report of consumption versus cost of multiple machines, you want comparison reports, you want cost projections. If I produce 20% more product this month, then How much consumption is that going to be? And what is that in terms of dollars and cents, which ultimately is what we care about, right? We want to produce the most while spending the least. So this is where the AI Copilot is headed. It's currently in development. We're making improvements to it every single day, and we have questions. So it's functional right now. So for example, what was the cost of my main meter yesterday? So historically, with just standard metering, you would have to go and feed the report. You would have to look at how many kilowatts you produced on the main yesterday. Then you would have to compare that to the hope costs over the course of that day, plus any regional tariffs or anything. And then you would have to multiply that out. And that could take anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes, depending on how complex your bills are. But with our AI Copilot, you just come in, it's already analyzing your data, it's analyzing it relative to your regional cost structure. And right there, it took 2 seconds. What was the cost of my main meter yesterday? Well, I spent just under $4,000, right? Now I want to know what was the cost of my main meter November 21st, right? So was this more electricity than the day before, or was it less? So roughly it's slightly more, but about the same, right? So if there's a stark difference there, now I know what I need to devote my physical attention to. But right here, I've already saved up to an hour of time just phasing out some calculations and getting the data because we're harvesting that all for you. Right? So if anybody in chat has any questions they want to ask the AI Copilot, we can certainly try. Again, we're very much just in the starting phases of the Copilot, so we're working towards the greater good, like analyzing production data, incorporating weather corrections, and actually spitting out like visual graphics. But it's still very capable right now. So again, any questions you want to see for the Copilot in chat, we can put it to the test right here. So visual graphs are something that's very, very close in production. It's still being actively worked on, but it's not something that we can spit out on this exact test run. We expect it to the more advanced features we've discussed, we're expecting for it to roll out in Q1, Q2 of 2024. Currently, it's very effective at answering questions related to cost, consumption, and uptime, for example. So, for example, what was the uptime of my boiler November 19th? All right, so yeah, November 19th, we didn't even use the boiler. Are you able to compare cost or data usage between different months? Yeah, absolutely. Let's ask the Copilot. How does my shaker cost compare from November to October? So yeah, so far in November compared to the same time in October, we've actually reduced our cost by $50. So yes, we can compare month to month, and you can spit that out right for you. If you want to see the exact numbers, you just ask it month by month. What was the cost for each month? Uh, Edgecom Energy has a question about uploading files and reading data. Go ahead. In general, you can upload CSV files and ask questions specifically about it. You could actually take segments from the portal and export it into the Copilot to ask further questions. You essentially just start each row with in my file plus your question. So I don't have that handy, unfortunately. But what we can do is if you have a CSV sheet of your data for, say, the past 3 months, you could say, in my file, what hour on average was the highest consumption? Can it make projections slash forecasts? So, what is my expected boiler cost for the month of December? All right. I might have worded that question wrong, but again, some things still aren't perfect. But the joy of an AI and in general these modules is the more you talk to it as the end user, the more it learns about you, the more it learns what you want. Is it able to relay information about how to connect your IoT devices? I believe it can. Yeah, you can ask it questions. How do I connect a pulse counter? Hi, Soha. Perfect. Yeah, exactly. Yes, it can relay information about how to connect your IoT devices. So the pulse counter is actually the meter we use to to connect to your main meter. So whether that's your main water, main gas, main electricity, we actually read the exact same pulses that your utility uses to bill you, so that we can ensure that that data coming to you is 100% accurate. And the difference from getting it from your utility and us is we give it to you guys live. Now, the caveat is it's a bit trickier to install than most of our other meters. But with AI Copilot, you ask and it explains exactly what you need to do to make sure that you're getting that data fed to you. Christine is asking, should I be concerned about my data? Well, there's two ways to take this question. So, yes and no. You should be concerned about your data of how you're using it. It's very important to again measure to manage. But in Edgecom's hands, no, there's no worry about your data with Edgecom. We're SOC 2 compliant. We're very secure. We use secured Amazon Web Service, LTE gateways, everything to stay off of your internal networks and stay on our own secured networks that leave no privacy concerns with your data. Awesome. Yeah. If you guys are getting here late, just a quick recap in the most nutshell way I can provide the information. Much like how homes turn into smart homes in the past 10 years, we're actively supporting facilities to become smart facilities, right? Have data at your fingertips, actionable insights, and ultimately energy management work done for you, right? Not every company has the luxury of having an energy manager. And those that do are often swamped 40, 50, 60 hours a week or more with work, right? So if we can take off even if we can even save them an hour of time a day, it's so much more productivity getting added to their schedule that just makes the AI Copilot grow stronger and stronger. So again, if there's any other general questions, I'm happy to answer, guys. We're just approaching 2:30 here, so it is looking to wrap up. But again, I'm happy to answer any outstanding questions. It doesn't even have to be about the Copilot. It could be about EdgeCom, um, the window behind me, whatever you guys would like. And again, guys, if you're just tuning in, we do have a newsletter that is being actively posted that you can sign up for at edgecom.ai/newsletter. We'll be talking about AI in the energy management sector, uh, AI in general, industrial engineering in general, whether that's new policies, good or bad, that could affect you in any way. We keep you guys in the loop, make sure that you're in the know-how so that you can make the most educated decisions, as well as giving some uh, educated opinions on said policies and news releases. All right, guys, if there is no outstanding questions, I do want to thank you all for coming. And I just want to mention quickly that we have another live specifically on our hardware and our IoT sensors coming up on December 7th. So again, on December 7th, we're going to go more in depth on the actual hardware, the workers behind the magic of the CoPilot, right? The real meat and potatoes that allows this AI Copilot to work is the sensors that gather your data. So December 7th, we'll be going over that a lot. It's Ham asking, can you check what sensor used the most energy last month? Yes, of course, we can do that as well. Hi, Mikkel. Thanks for coming in the chat. Yeah, I'll be sure to reach out to you after the web or the live stream. My apologies, and we can set up something to talk further. And again, if you're looking at getting into this AI Copilot, now is the best time to do it. Through the end of the year, we have a 20% discount off on all hardware. So if you need that metering in place to again make this happen, it's going to be the best price that we can offer for quite some time. And to answer your question, Sam, it looks like the main sensor used the most data, which makes sense. Probably need to configure that a bit more in the back end to not include main sensors. But we can see here it clearly used the most, 2 million kilowatt hours. Definitely more than either of the feeders, the shaker or the boiler. But it does seem, if there's no further questions, guys, we will wrap up here. I'd like to thank you guys all for popping in, supporting the live stream, coming to learn more. I hope I was able to teach you guys something or even just show you something that's interesting. And again, we will be live December 7th to go over the IoT hardware that supports this AI Copilot and metering and getting your data. And again, until the end of the year, we have a 20% discount on all devices, hardware that support this AI Copilot. So now is the best time to get in if you're interested. Feel free to reach out to anybody on the team and we can get you set up with the proper next steps. Other than that, again, thank you guys. It's awesome. I love having interactive chat. It makes the time go way easier. So I'd like to thank you guys again and see you on December 7th. Thanks.